Put your faith in the light.
Hello guys, welcome to another one of my videos. This is Lightblade. Well guys, this is going to be just a short one. It's going to be just a flash news video about some changes that are coming tomorrow. There's a lot of tuning in dungeons, and there's also some buffs on some really good trinkets, especially one that's really powerful for us. So now let's go to the patch notes in Wowhead. Okay, so first of all, they are nerfing raids, so 5% less health on mythic and heroic bosses on fated difficulties. This just makes sense because since the season is shorter and people want to upgrade the gear that we can buy with the dinars, if you have been killing bosses each week, this next reset you will be able to buy your first piece of loot from the vendors with the dinars. So a lot of people maybe not have enough tokens to upgrade them to heroic or mythic. This will allow them to get more kills of bosses, so you can do that. Okay, now let's go to the mythic plus changes. Okay guys, so let's go to changes they are doing in mythic plus dungeon. So they are making changes to Grimrail Depot, Lower Karazhan, Upper Karazhan, and the Shrouded affix. So let's talk about the Shrouded affix first. So nightmare clouds are now despawning faster when the Natherseam infiltrator is captured. This is good because those clouds are really annoying. They move slowly, but when they hit you, you know they hit you, and after that you probably will die because something else is going to kill you, like another ground mechanic or something. It's actually really annoying to get slapped by 5 seconds, you know, so this is good, make them disappear faster. Next one, this one is kind of wrong here, it's not in the place that it should be. Shadowflame damage is actually something from Upper Karazhan, so I'm thinking the notes are kind of wrong. So this ability happens in the Upper Karazhan last fight and on the last platform. So when you get to that last platform, you can see there's a bunch of bats flying around. Those guys cast this Shadowflame. Normally, what your group does here is just try to spread out, so that Shadowflame cast that is splash damage doesn't kill everyone, because if you clump together with your group, you are all going to explode. So normally everyone spreads out, like I said before, so and you just took the damage. Now they are adding some counterplay, so the travel speed of the thing is reduced by 100%, so you have like 2 seconds to move out of the way of the like purple swirly thingy, and it's good. Now you can dodge it, but in return, the thing now does more damage. So if you get hit, now you are punished harder, but at least now you can dodge it. So it's pretty good. It's like a buff and a nerf to the dungeon. Okay, let's go to the next change. Grimrail Depot. So the Grimrail technicians do a cast that's called 50,000 bolts. Those are those little goblin dudes that do some cast, you know, and sometimes move a ball that you have to interrupt. Well, those guys now, the cast of their 50,000 bolts is now increased to 3.5 seconds from 2.5. This is good because you normally have to stun those guys so they don't activate the ball or interrupt it, and then you have to also deal with this 50,000 bolt cast, which is really dangerous because it does a ton of damage and also stuns the target it hits. Normally it's going to kill someone on a high, let's say, fortified key or even a high tyrannical key if it goes off. So this just gives a bit more time to just stun or interrupt this cast. Okay, let's go to the next one. So Iron Docks nerfs. So this one is a funny one because if you see my streams, whenever I'm doing an Iron Docks, I'm always complaining that every single orc has a frontal ability that does damage. And I wasn't actually lying. Charging Slash is now only cast by Grumcar Footsoldier. So this means that a lot of those orcs were just charging slashing all the time. So every single orc had a frontal mechanic. I wasn't crazy. Okay, so now only those guys are going to do it, so there's less frontal mechanics stuff. They are also nerfing the damage of this charging slash by 35%. Good. I hate frontal mechanics. Great that they are nerfing that. After that, they are nerfing the Ogron Laborer's Thundering Stomp damage by 25%. Normally, you don't play these guys, though. The current meta is just dragging them to the balls and killing them with that. There's one dude that you play with, that you kill. Like, there's only one Ogron that you kill in the whole dungeon. So I guess this is mostly a nerf for the groups that actually play these guys. And I guess there's groups that don't use the balls to kill them, so that's good for them. After that, Thunderlord's Wrangler's throw damage is now reduced by armor. So this is an old mechanic from WoD Dungeons where there was the mitigation wasn't based on armor, it was just percentage based or something like that. So these guys currently are a really big problem to tanks that have low health and have uh, rely on block, because the throw damage was unblockable, undodgeable damage that bypassed armor, which was extremely dangerous, you know, especially if your tank has low health. For example, a protection paladin just probably died if two wranglers threw a weapon on, let's say, a fortified key. Now this has a bit more counterplay because this is now removed. Now you can mitigate it with armor. Okay, the next one. Rampaging cleft hooves health reduced by 15%, so this is fine. Those cleft hooves actually don't do much. They just charge someone and knock them up. They don't do that much damage. And they did have a bit of extra health, you know. They're annoying to deal with because normally they are just paired with like one dude, so you're there cleaving two targets and it's kind of a waste of time. Now they will die a bit faster. Okay, the next one, Grimrail Enforcers. This is the boss, that tree council boss that is in Iron Docks. So there was a cheese that people were doing, so they took them next to the stairs, and if you put the bosses in the correct place, they didn't do mechanics. So you can just AoE them down, and they did nothing. Now they will do their abilities regardless of where you put them, which is good. You know, I guess cheesing mechanics is not, it defeats the purpose of the fight, you know. So I'm guessing this is a good fix for that. Okay, next one. Let's return to Karazhan lower. So this is something that people have been asking a lot. If you see my last stream, I suffered a lot in this place, and mostly not because of mechanics, mostly because of my tank that couldn't get aggro. But there is a lot of mechanics that were almost killing me there. So Arcane Warden's Volatile Charge damage reduced by 40%. So those elementals, those purple elementals will now, that's the big circle that I put on someone. That thing hurt a lot. Yeah, on a 15 with my pally that has like 70k health or something. When this thing hit me, I had like 10% health left. So it's a good thing that they are nerfing this. After that, Skeletal Usher's flashlight damage reduced by 20%. Yes, another AoE ability that even if you like do the mechanic correctly and not watch the dude when he flashlights, it did a ton of damage, so it's a good nerf. After that, his health is also reduced by 25%. It's also good. Those guys are tanky as hell, so just reduce the health. It's nice. After that, Spectral Patron's uppercut damage reduced by 20%. This is another tank buster ability that was really annoying because normally you have like 4 of these guys in the pool. If you pulled more, probably your tank was gonna get one shot because of all those uppercut damage. Next one, Phantom Cruise Hammer Down, that has a 1.5 second cast, and the increased damage taken is now only 25 instead of 50. This is another thing about Legion dungeons where abilities didn't have a cast time, so you just took the damage and just, if you lived, you lived. If you died, you died. So this is good for tanks now. They can like interrupt the cast, stun it, do something to prevent it and to take that extra damage taken, you know? Gonna help a lot of tanks there. Okay, next one. Resolve an issue that caused Blood Death Knight's Dancing Room weapon to strike unintended targets with blood boil through floors. So I don't think this is only Blood Death Knights. I've been pulling stuff with my Divine Storm. I've been trying to aim it to, let's say, a wall or something. Sometimes the thing just goes through the wall and pulls stuff, you know, and it's kind of annoying. There's also like that thing when Braum appears and knocks a mob like to the other floor, which is really hilarious when it happens, but it's horrible because you pulled so much stuff and then you die. Anyways, I guess they're going to just fix those interactions one by one. Let's go to the next one. Okay, Opera Hall, Beautiful Beast. So we recently had this boss. This is going to be, I guess, in 3 weeks. In 2 weeks, we're going to see this this Opera Hall event again. So after you kill the three small ads, you will fight the pot, you know. And this pot summons the forks, and it does a lot of damage because it dents armor, which reduces the armor on your tank. Now it has a cast time, so I'm guessing you can interrupt it, which is good. It prevents that dent armor going on your tank. And also the silver forks bloody jab damage is reduced by 20%, which is good because those things hurt a lot, especially the bleed, you know. You can remove it, like, let's say if you're a pal, then you can bubble bop and also you use the Kyrian thing, but still it does a lot of damage, so people that couldn't remove it suffered a lot. Now this is a bit more fair. Next one, Maiden of Virtue, Holy Bulwark, absorb reduced by 10%. This is also good. Normally, this is because not many people save a cooldown for the shield. So if your group like popped everything on pull, when you get to the shield part, no one has damage and the thing explodes and everyone dies. Normally this happens in groups that have like a bit less damage, you know, not super overpowered groups. And so I think this is going to help those to survive that, because and on that phase you're not only dealing with the shield, you're also dealing trying to survive because you took the dot to remove repentance. Your healer can't help you do damage there because they are trying to keep you alive, because that dot hurts like hell, especially on, let's say, tyrannical weeks that's going to kill you, so healer has to like just heal. And some other like DPS, let's say hybrid DPS, are trying to survive as well. You're like they're healing yourself, trying to live, so sometimes you don't have enough damage to break this bulwark. So this is going to help on those situations. Next one, Attunement the Huntsman. So intangible present damage reduced by 50%. This is when he casts those ghosts. So there's one person that's going to have the ghost on him, and in my last stream, for example, I was manually typing who had the ghost because my healer didn't know how to look for that ghost. So if he dispelled the wrong person, everyone died, because the thing does a ton of damage. Even on a normal 15 key, the thing just killed everyone, or close to killed everyone. Probably someone died because of other stuff, but close to killing people. So now this thing is going to do less damage, so it's going to be less punishing when the healer dispels like the wrong person. But you should still try to communicate with your healer, and if you see your ghost on you, just type me in the chat so they can see who can eat a spell. But it's going to be less punishing for those pug groups because this boss was a pug killer. Okay, so next one, let's go to Upper Karazhan. So Wrathguard's Flamebringer's Cleave and strike damage reduced by 20%. This is just the frontal cleave that mob before Medivh does. There's only one of these guys, so it's not a big problem. The problem was when they cast Slide. So Slide is an old mechanic that is from Legion. When he does this, the mob loses all aggro on the tank, and the tank has to taunt him back. Back in Legion, this wasn't a problem because aggro didn't exist back then. Well, it did, but it was a non-factor. Tanks had so much aggro that it didn't matter that the dude cast a slide, because anything the tank would do, it would give them aggro back. Now, currently we don't have that, and aggro is a thing. So when the dude casts slide, let's say your cloth is just chilling in the back, the red guard will jump to them and murder them because your tank didn't have his taunt ready. And this was a problem because this dude really hurt a lot. So now he's no longer going to cast that slide thing, and is going to hit with his abilities by less to your tank, which is good. Okay, next one, Shade of Medivh. Guardian images on Shimmer, damage reduced by 25%. This is good. Medivh is a really punishing boss. If Flame Wreath and the birds phases are really horrible. If for example your group is focusing on one bird, someone has to focus a kick on the other ones, because if those two birds cast on someone, that someone is going to die. So this is a good nerf on this, because though the damage was just too high. The only phase that's pretty chill, no pun intended, is the ice one, where you just jump and you can avoid any damage. But if you are unlucky and let's say get a Flame Wreath and after that you get a Shimmer, people probably use most of their defensives on the Flame Wreath because it deals a ton of damage still after the nerfs, and then they don't have anything to survive the bird phase. So was an RNG Fiesta that's pretty annoying to deal with. This is going to make it a bit easier. Next one, Mana Devourer. Energy discharge damage reduced by 30%. Okay, so this is not the huge wipe mechanic that this guy does. That's another energy discharge when he reaches 100. This is just a normal one he does when he expels the balls. This is good because it does a lot of damage. Even on the fortified keys you felt the damage of this thing. There's also a lot of other damage that's happening when in this fight. You have to soak the ball, so you take the damage from that. You also take the damage from the dot that the balls put on you, and to remove that dot you have to like sit in these purple circles, and those circles become smaller and they absorb the damage of the dot that you had. Okay, so there's a lot of damage going around in that fight. It's good that they just reduce the damage of the burst, you know. It's fine if you're taking damage by ticks, but when the damage is like bursty and one-shotty, it's good that they reduce it. Okay, next one. Oh, they're nerfing something in Gambit. That's one of the easiest keys to do now, but oh, they're nerfing the invigorating fish stick. So yeah, this fish stick is kind of really annoying because I've had times when I was in the middle of a global and the dude just casted the fish stick. So I didn't have time to stun it, or I stunned it and he still got the cast off. So increasing the cast to 2 seconds is going to make those situations happen less, and you have a bit more time to just press that stun on the white murloc and then murder him because he's annoying with the fish sticks. Okay guys, now let's go with the last change they did, and this is to Grimrail Depot as well. So there is this last boss which is really annoying. It's a visual nightmare because the dude casts lightning and you can't see where the lightning effects are, you know, like it's really hard to see them. Also, there's no visual clarity on the trap because it like blends into the environment. Now they are making some changes and we can see them here. For example, when he does the thunder, now it leaves those swirlies on the ground so you can see where it's going to fall, so you don't take that dot damage. And you can also see here like the trap is like glowing with a beam of light now, so you can actually see where the trap is, so you don't just stand on it by mistake, you know. I'm thinking this is just good for visual clarity in that fight. Also, there's a change to the spinning spear, now shows a stunned indicator when hit by the attack, which is also nice. More visual clarity is always nice in the game. Okay guys, now let's go to the last changes, which are buffs, which are pretty good. Okay, so the buffs in question are to 3 items that drop from Iron Docks. The first one is Enforcer's Stun Grenade, versatility increased by 96%, Flesh Render's Meat Hook, intellect increased by 17%, Kira's Adrenaline Injector increased agility by 17%. Of these ones, for Red Paladins, Enforcer's Stun Grenade is now our biz trinket, and I can say it with security. When I said this trinket was going to be our biz in the Retribution Paladin Discord,
They called me a madman.
yes, so now I with certainty can say this thing is really good and you should actually farm it, because 96% increase of versatility is huge. I know this is not on the unused part, but it is buff on the passive stat of the trinket, which makes it now competitive with other stuff, you know. This is really good. The other trinkets are for intellect. That one gives a bunch of haste, and the Kira's Adrenaline Injector gives, I think, a bunch of mastery. So that's also a really good buff for those trinkets. I think that a lot of these were already like almost biz, and now are probably going to be like biz trinkets, you know. So this is just a really good change. Okay guys, with that we have finished every single change that's coming tomorrow. And remember, tomorrow is a 7-hour maintenance on the servers. So because they're fixing the auction houses, I think they broke it and they know they're going to take a while to fix it, so they just announced a 7-hour maintenance. And that's not even counting if they're going to delay it further, you know, so that may happen. So don't make plans on playing WoW tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow night you will be able to play WoW. So okay guys, that's going to be all for today. If you enjoy my content and you like reading like patch notes and stuff with me, subscribe to the channel and leave a like to the video. Thanks for watching everyone.